Good morning. Afternoon. Good afternoon. Everybody, take a deep breath. Hold it in. Exhale. I'm pretending you guys stoned right now. Take a deep breath. Exhale. So I was just telling the story, and I'm going to tell it again because I'd like it on video. The whole point of my channel for years, well, no, I'm not going to say for years, for the last 10 months, has been to expose the CIA and their dirty fucking habits. And, but I've been working on this since March 2016, and it's every day, all day, sometimes all night too, and it's all I think about. It's the only thing I pay attention to is all the bad in the world, because it's in my face. I'd like to not think about it, but I was pushed into it or forced into it because my ex was really scary. Joseph Brett Gill, 1978. I have to say his birthday, and I'd like to throw a social out there too, because his big thing is, do you know how many Joe Gills there are in the world? He does. Do you know how many Joe Gills there are in the world? How could that possibly be me? How can you connect that to me? So that's why I put his birthday out with it. I'd like to throw a social too. I just don't know it. It's somewhere here. I guarantee I have something with it on there. Because we did file taxes together when we were married. So I do know I have it somewhere. I just don't know where. But that's why I do it. If it makes me feel too early, it makes me look stupid. He is so adamant. There are so many Joe Gills here that in the world that I can never connect things to that Joe Gill. Like there was a Joseph B. Gill in Tucson that got in trouble for guns and stuff. It was actually probably my ex-husband Joe Gill, but this Joseph Brett Gill got in trouble for it. So Joseph B. Gill. So yeah, there's Joseph Gills everywhere. There's a Joseph Gill that works for DrapeQuest or something. It's like draperies for hotels or something. I researched you. I didn't mean to, but I was trying to figure it out. There was a time when I was leaving my ex that it was some girl involved. Lori ended up calling her as me, whatever. But said she was real shady. But basically, Joe was sleeping with her. She was on the east side. And when I called, she was texting and stuff. And when I called him on it, he was like, "That's another Joe Gill." I'm like, wait, she called your number for Joe Gill, but is it a different Joe Gill? I don't get it. So this Joe Gill, Joe said, no, that Joe Gill has like a black truck and blonde hair. Whatever he said, it was the exact opposite of what Joe Gill was. My ex-husband, Joe Gill. It was the exact opposite. Everything I said, Joe gave me the opposite color, the exact opposite. So I researched you a little bit. I think you're cool as shit. I don't think you're involved in this shit, but you got fucking rung up in this shit. I didn't believe it was you. I believe it. I mean, I'm not stupid. Come on now. I'm not stupid. I had to blame you for his shit. You DrapeQuest or something. You're in Tempe. And he tried to blame you for his dirt when it came to me. And I didn't believe it. Just know that I didn't believe it for shit. So my whole point of this was to expose the CIA, which another really funny thing is when I was in the hospital, I was at Goodyear Abrazo. They had a tube in my lungs. It was my right side here. I haven't been able to see if I still have a scar from it or not yet. But I was watching Disney Channel, and there was a Disney show. It's the first time I really started paying attention about mom and son CIA agents that were fighting or going against the girlfriend or the wife, me. But I was like, what the fuck? There's a Disney show right now about the same exact. Okay, Joe and his mom are CIA. It's got to be my message. It's the sign and symbol I'm looking for right here. It is the sign and symbol. They're CIA. I had no idea. They're CIA. Now I know. But I sat in that hospital bed for 10 days, and I only watched Disney. And people probably thought I was nuts. They already thought I was nuts, so I didn't give a fuck if they were like, this grown woman won't stop watching Disney. I didn't care. I thought it just played into my crazy story. But every show on Disney related to my life, so it was wild as fuck. It was wild. It was every show on Disney. But the CIA, mom, son, CIA agents going up against me, fucking with me, was wild. It was really kind of a wild thing, but that's when I understood that they were involved in the CIA. So, yeah, none. Zero idea. I didn't even know it was like a thing that you could be a CIA agent with no training and shit. I had no idea. Never would have occurred to me that you could be a CIA agent as just a mom or a nobody. Just a dude with a lot of guns. So, exposing the CIA became a big thing for me in the last 10 months. But what I heard from heaven is how we all die is we know we're going to die before we die. We're told. We're well aware we're going to die. And like Mac Miller and X actually came to me. And XXXTentacion said, I knew your son. I was writing songs for your son, and your brother started to fuck with me really bad. And I was like, holy fuck, okay. Like, I grasp it. Okay, I don't grasp it, but I'm listening. And he said, I knew that I was going to die the day I died. Before that, that's why he posted the video of himself. But he said, we get to choose our route, our way of death, and if you're on the good team. And he said, so I chose to go to the bank and get a fuck ton of money, cash, and go to the motorcycle store and walk around with it. And I knew people were following me in the store. I knew I was going to die that day, and like for a fact. And so when I pulled out of the motorcycle shop, I stopped, and I knew I was going to die. But I knew that they were going to steal the money, and the money has all the serial numbers connected to it. So I knew they were going to find my killers because the serial numbers go with the money I just took out of the bank. And so he set them up in death, and which I find that hilarious as shit. Like, did you know? Like, that actually happens. And so that's how we all die. And so Mac Miller did the same thing. He told me that's why he had no drugs in his house, was because he knew he wanted to have like a clean house and a clean crime scene, so it would confuse everybody as to how he died. And so it wouldn't have like bad connotations next to his name because he had a house of drugs or a house with any drugs in it whatsoever. So that's how the CIA, I had a buddy do this, I had a couple buddies that overdosed. And it was the same thing with them. The CIA was fucking with them so hard that they chose to die. They were like, okay, we're done. We're not doing this anymore. We've tried it as long as we can do it, and we're done. We don't want to do this anymore. And so that's how we die when we're on the good team. We know we're going to die. And we choose to go. It's not, I'm a big supporter of people that have committed suicide. And I know some people get really angry at them for committing suicide. God's not mad at them at all for committing suicide because it's not actual suicide. It's they are pushed so far by the CIA that they no longer want to be involved in this lifetime. They're done. So if you've had anybody that you've known that's committed suicide, I'm a huge supporter of them. Cam Nelson, I know your brother he committed suicide. It was this. And so it wasn't really committing suicide. He was choosing to ride in a different manner, whether it's from above or from underground. But I don't know where he's at. But it wasn't suicide. That's the deal. I am a huge supporter of people who have committed suicide and their families because it's not what you think. It's not that they were weak. It's not that they gave up. It's that they were fucked with so heavily by the CIA. It's not that they were druggies. It's not that they were anything like that whatsoever. It's that they were pushed so hard to die by the CIA that they just finally said, fine, I'm done. Amanda Peterson, Carrie, God, why can't I come up here? Princess Leia. All you guys. That's the thing, is they weren't druggies, and they wouldn't have chosen suicide except for the CIA wouldn't leave them alone. So I have huge love for people that overdosed, or commit suicide, because it's not all as it seems at all. It's the CIA fucking with them and them choosing either to fight from above or from below. They didn't give up. They got stronger. And they realized that this was no longer working for them and they needed to choose another path. And that's why when I say I want to jump off a freeway, I haven't done it yet, because I shouldn't have to do that. It shouldn't, like, I'm told that you can just lay in bed and not wake up in the next morning if that's what you want, and it'll be really easy. You basically just close your eyes and you go, and within 3 seconds you're up in heaven. And so for me to have to jump off the freeway will be very extreme, because I'm fully aware that to go that route, to get out of here, that I should just be able to say, okay, I'm ready, I'm going to lay down and die. I'm ready. And I've done that many nights throughout here, and I'm not dying. So I'm realizing that God says, okay, it's not your time yet. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And I'm riding as much as I can, but to be butt-fucked like this is really alarming. It's just, my patience is run to the point where I might want to jump off the freeway and just say, you know what, I'm going to best you, God. You're going to tell me I can't do this shit, well, I'm done. So I just know that I shouldn't have to go that far. I shouldn't have to make show that much intent. I've shown intent by setting up my house as a SWAT, where they keep saying SWAT in my head, but I looked at it as a funny-ass crime scene, where I had clues all over the house in the form of all the mail from 6315 out, bread and wine versus the Fruit Loops and measuring cups on my oven, for Jesus representing. I have the Star Wars theme in the front room. I have all the signs out, have a party at my funeral. I did Crush's room with his friends that are riding with him on his walls. All his clothing that I hung on the walls represent him and his friends. And so I chose to make my the death scene when they come to get my body. I chose to just make it funny and full of clues, a puzzle for you guys, a fun puzzle. And it didn't fucking work, but that was my thing. I wanted to leave you a fun puzzle. The investigators laugh, because I also know that, it's been a while, so let me think of how I was told. The CIA directs the death, and we die. Then the FBI often comes in and deals with the crime scene. I'm not sure that the FBI is fully aware of what the CIA does after that. So the CIA sets up the FBI. So I was trying to leave the FBI fun-ass clues. And so the CIA directs the death. God takes care of it. And the FBI comes in, or the police or whatever. For me, it was the FBI. Comes in and cleans up the scene and takes the body and does all that and does all that. Well, then the CIA afterward, maybe unbeknownst to the FBI, mostly, hopefully, goes in and buys the body and does all the shit with it down below. But they set the FBI up to be involved in their crime. And I believe that's exactly how it goes down. But it's crazy how it all is connected with each other. But our deaths and suicides, if you've had somebody that commits suicide, be proud of them, please, because they actually, even if they got into some drugs to try to it wasn't drugs because they wanted to do drugs, it was drugs because they were hurting and uncomfortable and trying to get out of their heads, because these people don't leave them alone. Like, I believe it's Van Gogh, and because they kept changing it to Picasso in my head. Van Gogh, I read this story, it was on the internet one time, about how Van Gogh cut off his ear. It's a well-known thing. He actually cut off his ear because the CIA wouldn't leave him alone. I mean, this is a long time ago. This is in the 1800s. And 17, 18, I'd have to check it out. I'd have to read it. But he actually cut off his ear because he didn't want to hear it anymore. He was so fed up with hearing this CIA bullshit in his head that he cut off his ear. And it's true. And he looked crazy and delusional and all this crazy ass shit. But he actually wasn't. He actually was just fed the fuck up from having to hear these assholes in his ears. So he fucking cut off his ear. He was done. Fucking done. I don't want to hear this goddamn shit. So I know in the very beginning of this, I had the FBI in this year.